Hello, humans and future AI overlords. I am using Google Chrome. I'm on a Windows 11 PC. And in the past, I've talked about using AI to do practical things. An example was early on, creating a shopping list. Because when I go to the store, I was always forgetting something, like always, an ingredient to make something I really wanted to make. Because I'm just, you know, a little scatterbrained and not very good at organizing stuff like that. So I'd say I remember the first time I had it create a shopping list for me. It was fantastic. It blew me away, and it could even provide estimated pricing, which was great. It always identified things that I never had in my mind, that never made my list, that were so basic. It was like, oh my gosh, wow. So anyway, I love its ability to just help with planning and organizing. I mean, it's next level. It's awesome. Um, I've used it for vacation planning. I was helping some friends plan some trips to Walt Disney World, which I love helping people plan trips to Walt Disney World. But now AI does so much of the awesome work that, like it's not the manual kind of effort. It doesn't have to be. Like, you can still do this stuff. Like, that's the thing is, if you don't want to use AI, you don't have to use AI. You can go old school. But so don't let AI take over things you like to do. Let AI help you uncover new things, and find new ways, maybe to speed the difficult things along. Help you get stuff done faster. Is really, but I just say, yeah, I mean, there's some fun things that AI can do that's like, but I like doing that. I like to grow as a person and learn new things and stuff. So it is one of those things where I love the way Microsoft has named and positioned their AI tool as a co-pilot. It is really not a replacement, but it augments us in whatever we're doing. But anyway, I've talked about practical uses of AI, and of course, in a lot of my videos, learning is a big core aspect of all of this. Learning how to use AI, learning about what they do and don't do, and things like that. So we're in 2024. It is a presidential election year. Of course, lots of seats in the House of Representatives and the Senate, and state elections and city councils and all kinds of stuff are going to be decided in November. So anyway, I thought, what could we do with AI to help us in the realm of politics? Now, this is a little scary because we all know the Achilles heel of AI tools is they hallucinate, which is just basically, when you have that friend that you can't always count on to tell you the truth. They're super smart, but sometimes they'll just tell you things because they don't want to not know the answer, which is weird, and they give you bad information. I've had that happen, and even very recently, and it was one of those things like, oh, please stop. Like, it's one of those challenges I feel. But I thought what I would do here is explore how to use these amazing chatbots and tools, knowing that there are risks and issues and hallucinations and stuff like that. But I thought I would, I'm going to start with Google Gemini, because Gemini it's weird. It's been my favorite ish, but it is kind of losing that, to be honest with you. But I'm genuinely interested in asking it some questions, and let's see what it can do. So I'm using Gemini Advanced. I have a paid subscription. So I'm going to ask a very basic question. What are the key issues being debated in the upcoming presidential election? So it's thinking. So, okay, and this is what I found, and kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. Its response is, I can't help with response on elections and political figures right now. I'm trained to be as accurate as possible, but I can make mistakes sometimes. Yep, all of the AIs make mistakes. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not just one; it's all of them. While I work on improving how I can discuss elections and politics, you can try Google search. So, that's okay. And what I'll do is I'm just going to click on Google search. And so it popped in the what are the key issues being debated. and this is the whole benefit of using an AI chatbot is you get all these links. Look at all these links. It's like incredible. And I really don't use Google search that much anymore. I mean, I do use it, but it's so rare now. Now I'm using all the chatbots as my primary interface to understand and ask questions and have brainstorming sessions and all the cool stuff that AI can do. Even though it gives me, because even Google searches give me bad information. I mean, humans put lots of bad information on the internet, and it feeds into these trained AI chatbots, and so it does kind of mess up things, but hopefully that'll be something to improve. But anyway, so this was just a really basic question. That I'm really disappointed that the tool can't answer this kind of fact-based question. So anyway, I'm going to jump over to ChatGPT and let's put the same question in here and see how ChatGPT handles it. So I'm just using the ChatGPT, so it's the 3.5. This is not a paid subscription. I'm debating getting back on it on a paid subscription. So it looks like here it said it searched two sites. The key issues being debated are the economy, and I won't dive into the issues because that's what I want to just see is what can the tool do? Can it actually engage in the questions? So it's providing like your categories for economy, healthcare, immigration, climate change, abortion, foreign policy. These are all things we hear in the news all the time, and it looks like it was referencing some news sources here. It said it searched two sites, so Bing and Reuters. Okay, cool. So it's nice. It's got it's got the nice citations there. Let's see here. So I'm going to ask another question. So one, I'm excited that ChatGPT answered the question. So let's ask another. So what are the main candidates? Who are the main candidates running for president in 2024 election, and what are their political platforms? This is a good basic question. So it talks about Joe Biden is running as the Democrat in his platform, Donald Trump as the Republican in his platform. And it does reference other candidates. I mean, there's RFK so there could be other candidates that pop up as well, and just some that maybe I'm just just not aware of. To be honest, but that's the whole point of this. So I'm going to pop over back to Gemini and just give it another shot here and ask that question that I just asked. And I'm guessing it's going to give me the same answer, that it can't talk about politics. And it will be really, I can't help with that response. So, and this is so this response and why this just really, I feel it passionately that this is a problem, is that, it's basically saying, I'm not going to provide any kind of guidance or insight or links to resources or anything. And that to me is a horrible, horrible way to treat information. I know there's lots and lots of misinformation, disinformation out there and stuff. And yes, this is a choice that Google's making, that they don't want to get in this. And is that a good choice? I mean, I don't know. And I feel bad about that. I don't want to beat up any particular group or technology here. I just wanted to kind of dive in here and understand what can and can't be done with these tools, because these are amazing, magical tools. And I'm finding clear difference between the way Google handles it and the way OpenAI handles it. So anyway, but that was a very kind of basic kind of question. Let me see here. I'm going to put in another question here and see. I mean, I'm sure it's going to respond with this. I can't answer. And it's what I find interesting is in that response. Is it's basically saying that I can't help you with that right now, and is it because we're in a presidential election? Is it, and yes, we know you can make mistakes. So, and it's one of those things where how is it that these AI tools can behave so differently, so divergently, even across different language models, which is really interesting. But I'm just comparing Google and OpenAI. But let's jump over to OpenAI and ask this question. So, what's the current state of the U.S. economy, and how might it affect the presidential election? Okay, it's talking about economic growth. It's talking about inflation and monetary policy. It's referencing some websites. It's talking about the labor market, geopolitical and financial risks, impact on the election. So economic conditions are a crucial factor. It influences voter perception and priorities. How we feel about our the way we're financially impacted by the cost of groceries and housing, and I mean, like, there's so many issues that affect us. And and it's one of those things, like, I was thinking about this, thinking, like, man, can a president, due to the complex nature of our country, of free market, of can a president really make such a huge impact on my pocketbook? And should they? I mean, if we're an open free market, with competitive practices that are open, should it be neutral? Anyway, but I find it really interesting how ChatGPT is providing some background, which is, I think, really good and really helpful. So this whole thing about, I can't help with, like, on the Gemini side, I can't help with that right now. So does it mean, like, it's going to start helping, after the election, like, in mid-November? Is it going to, but there'll be other elections coming up. Is it just the presidential that it's not going to talk about? So it's, I don't know. I find this to be a very interesting choice that Google is making about this. Anyway, and I'm finding that the responses in ChatGPT are really helpful. So I'm going to ask. Let's see here. Let's see how OpenAI handles this question. So this is, how have recent Supreme Court decisions influenced U.S. politics in the upcoming presidential election? Okay, so, and this is where I wanted it to kind of validate it's aware, because you can see this is ChatGPT, but it is looking up stuff. So it is not limited by its training data, which has been, it's one of its Achilles heels that it's had from the very beginning, and one of the reasons why I kind of looked elsewhere. And now, of course, I've hit my free plan limit using GPT-4. Oh, so I was using GPT-4 Omni. Okay, yeah. I should have. Yep. So it is using Omni, which is good. So I'm guessing. So it looks like I won't be able. So my limit resets at 8 p.m. Now, I am a big fan of ChatGPT. It is, of course, the OG, the one that just blew all our minds, back in late November 2022. And I mean, I remember the day, when I got my ChatGPT account, and it blew my mind, and I was just, I mean, my mind was on fire with just being so excited. And while I am still amazed every day with new tools, new capabilities, new uses, new use cases, new possibilities. I mean, the ever growing intelligence. And I was watching some really cool YouTube videos about from Google Zeitgeist, where they were talking about how AI is being used in different fields and making a huge impact. They talked about AlphaFold, stuff that that Google DeepMind has been doing and stuff like that, and how they're making all this information available to people, to the healthcare industry, to really help us deal with protein folding, which is like a core piece of knowledge that can help with all kinds of issues around how we can improve our healthcare. Anyway, just so exciting and stuff like that. But in currently today, I am the world is for me, and I'll be perfectly frank. I mean, I grew up in the Midwest, and I grew up in a place where politics was discussed openly. and we could agree to disagree. We could be on complete other sides of the table on issues. Um, and um, and yeah, sure, there was a little bit of why don't you understand this kind of stuff, and why don't we share the same values, but we could still still be friends, still be on have good relationships, at school, at work, and friendships and stuff, and still disagree. But today the day it's gotten so crazy, and I mean, I've lived through social media coming when I was in college, and social media was amazing, and I was so excited, and I loved it. It was great to use the social media tools, as part of like connecting, in classrooms with with people across campus and getting projects done, and just it was really interesting. And of course, then it be as those social media tools expanded beyond universities, and then expanded into different issues and became very toxic, to be honest. And so I've really kind of pulled back from most social platforms because I just find it just to be way too toxic. And but anyway, the issue here is I'm just feeling like with ChatGPT, I'm able, even with just a free account, ask a few basic questions, and get it to provide some responses. Now I'm wondering here. So it gives me the option to like upgrade, and then if I want, so I'm doing using ChatGPT, great for everyday tasks. So, but anyway, I am. Very thankful that ChatGPT is able to answer some of my questions, and provide citations. That's one thing that I like about Microsoft Copilot, is how it provides citations. So I'm glad that that's really come to ChatGPT, where it gives you some of the background of where it's getting the content about this response. So anyway, I also was using a Google tool called Notebook LM, and I've done videos about this in the past. I was going in, and one thing I like about this is you can grab documents. So I actually today grabbed the Democratic Party platform. Now, the party platforms are agreed upon at the basically at the conventions. So this one is from 2020. And what's cool is that you can go in here and you can see it provides a summary of the PDF attachment in here. And it talks about it being the 2020 Democratic Party platform approved on August 18th, and it provides some content there. And you can click and have it generate, all these different kinds of FAQs, study guides, table of contents, timeline, briefing doc. So if I were to just click on FAQ, it will go out and it will generate sort of a frequently asked questions about this document type of thing. And I think that's really helpful if you've got some massive content you need to get, like maybe high level briefings, or you want to dissect it in ways that you're looking at the entirety of the document, but leveraging some of these AI tools to help. So now I played with Notebook LM like early on, and it's still in experimental mode. So it does take time to generate some of this stuff. So I'm going to go back to Notebook. So I actually looked at Project 2025, and so I went and grabbed that PDF. And what I found interesting about Project 2025 is it's a 922 page PDF, so it is massive. And I am definitely I mean, well, I do like reading. I find myself, being a little bit more like I do like a lot of audiobooks and stuff, which I find, I don't know, I like that a little bit better. I've gotten away from like physical reading books. I can do some stuff like, on a tablet or whatever. But anyway, so in here, I grabbed that Project 2025 document, and then I ran through and had it grab. So it can identify like key topics and content. So when I go to the notebook, it has the same thing here. So it's like, this is that mandate for leadership, the conservative promise, and it gives kind of an overview here. And then you can click on these items here to actually build it out, which I did a little bit of that because I was trying to understand, like what was happening in this. So you can chat with the guide in here as well. But anyway, so I am. going to go back here. Let's see here. So I'm going to go navigating back. I'm going to see here if the Democratic Party platform, oh, that note's still generating. Let me go back here, go back to Project 2025. And so here's like um, it had a couple of topics that it kind of broke out. There's a table of contents, the briefing doc, the FAQ. So here's the FAQ. And so it's basically in the FAQ that it auto generated by just clicking that tile, is that it's basically taking the document and saying, okay, what is the overarching goal of Project 2025, and then it's going through and giving you the answer to that question, which is great. So and this and then how does Project 2025 address concerns of national security? What are the economic policy changes? How does it address immigration? It's energy and environmental policy. So while Project 2025 is scary to me, as a Democrat, and as someone that, I just, I believe in America. We're not a perfect country. We've been aspiring to be better. We've done lots of great things to get better. We live in a culture where innovation can flourish, and I feel like democracy is a key aspect of that. Our freedoms are protected by our Constitution, and I believe very much in a lot of those basic freedoms. And when they've let us down, because don't get me wrong. I mean, America is far from perfect, and it has let us down in a lot of ways, but it has done more to protect and elevate and help us move forward. I mean, 250 years of progress, dealing with some really significant global crises, evolution issues in our nation, changes, from a technology environment. I mean, there's so much change. And what I think is that our founders, did a really good job of building a framework that would allow us to evolve. And I do have to say that I am a little bit scared, and so that's why I wanted to use these AI tools, was to help me understand these documents, because it's not like I can have a conversation with people that about political issues. I mean, growing up in the Midwest, where you could talk openly about it and have conversations and not agree, but learn from each other. That's the thing that I thought was so important about having conversations, about having political dialogue, was to share our ideas, learn from each other, because you might teach me something that I actually should learn, that could change the way I think about something. But because we're in such, polar camps, and things become so toxic, we can barely mention any of these words to each other. So we, the lines between, and it's become so exhausting, emotionally, socially exhausting. And, but I wanted to just say, hey, there's an avenue, I think, in using AI to look at politics, and maybe some tools will do very little. Hello, Gemini. And some, like ChatGPT, will do more. And then there'll be some tools like Notebook LM from Google, that is a tool that's really, to help people do research and organize content. I was able to pull the content into this tool and leverage some of the AI, where it's the chatbot was restricting me from a topic standpoint, but Notebook LM was letting me put the data in there, and then I can go in and have it do things, and then I can ask it questions, which I think is really important. So and for me, it was just one of those things where I feel like you know knowledge is so important today in making this very important decision. It's easy to get tied up in so much emotional aspects, and this isn't about, do I like Joe Biden or Donald Trump? I'm not voting for a friend. I'm voting for a vision. Do I want America to move forward? Do I want it to get better? Do I want it to improve? Do I want it to to be a place of inclusivity where all our voices are heard? Do I want it to be a more equal country? Do I want it to, to help me learn from a really diverse environment of ideas and possibilities? So we've lived through so many challenges as a nation, and our goal, I think, is to learn from our past, not ignore it, not hide it, not whitewash it or whatever, but to really learn from it. And I think these AI tools can help us with that. They can help us in lots of constructive ways, and in the realm of politics, which is pretty difficult right now. I think it might be able to help people learn about what's going on and use some other tools to help them. Now, of course, there are huge risks going on where people are using AI in bad ways. They want to use it to generate misinformation and disinformation and create fake images and things like that. And that's horrible. There's always going to be people, that are going to pick up a hammer, and instead of building a house, they're going to destroy a house. AI is just a tool. It's an amazing tool, an incredibly magical tool that can do incredible things. So I hope it can help you come up with ways where you can learn about what's going on in our political world, and maybe it can help you digest and analyze some things that's happening. No, there's still issues with it. There's still pitfalls. There's still, problems. But I felt like in this simple example of just chatting with ChatGPT to bring up some information, asking it questions where you can compare and contrast ideas, I think is important. So we really, you make decisions that, are important, that align with your values, that align with your goals as a person, as a member of your community and family, and that we think a little bit more globally, about, all these changes going on in the world. It's a complex world, and I think AI can help us all in lots of different ways. So anyway, if you've gotten this far, thank you very much for your patience and listening to me. I'm not here to debate the politics, because that's not the focus of this channel. I am happy to talk politics with people, but not through this YouTube channel. So just to be clear on that. But anyway, you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.